Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, June 29. The House of Representatives last night passed the Special Crime Zones Bill, which makes provision for the designation of a location as a crime spot among other security measures. After 18 amendments, both government and opposition members of Parliament voted for the legislation.
The murder situation that we face, Mr. Speaker, is not normal, but we are becoming very much insensitive to it. The debate today from the Parliament sends a signal to the country that the leaders of the country do not consider this as normal.
Opposition leader Dr. Peter Phillips stressed the need for transparency in the identification of the special crime zones.
I believe if we can find the way to ensure that the decision and the selection of the geographic areas to be subject to this declaration is clearly within the remit of the high command of the security forces, it would enhance public trust.
We can't just go into any area and declare it a zone. There has to be a crime problem there. And in operational terms, you would not have the resources to just willy-nilly declare area zones.
The Prime Minister assured the House that the bill would not replicate the state of emergency procedure, but stressed that it would broaden the scope of national security.
The police, the military, and MOCA will have their operational duties. They do their operations, they plan it. The job of the government is to create the framework, the legal framework in which they can operate, hold them accountable afterwards.
The law reform, Zones of Special Operations, Special Security and Community Development Measures Act 2017, often referred to as the Special Crime Zones Bill, was piloted in Parliament by Justice Minister Delroy Chuck. Parliament also passed legislation yesterday to allow the government to take $46 billion in budgetary support from the National Housing Trust, NHT, over 4 years. Finance Minister Audley Shaw says the other options for financing the budget could be burdensome on the public. He adds that if revenue buoyancy continues, the drawdowns from the National Housing Trust will become unnecessary.
It has in fact started fairly well in the first quarter of the fiscal year. My preliminary figures in the first quarter of the fiscal year, Mr. Speaker, is showing that to Monday of this week, our revenue was $5 billion ahead for the quarter. $5 billion. And I want to give the Honourable House and the country the assurance that to the extent that the revenue is ahead, if we don't have to draw down the funds from the National Housing Trust, we will not draw the funds.
In other finance news, on Wednesday, Jamaica and the World Bank signed off on a $70 million loan agreement.
This loan is to assist the government's efforts to achieve higher levels of economic growth through the continued implementation of various initiatives targeted at improving the investment climate, improving competitiveness, fiscal consolidation, and public financial management in Jamaica.
The agreement represents the second policy loan received by the current administration and was approved by the bank earlier in June. It's part of a broader program of financing totaling above $500 million for the period 2014 to 2019.
The policy reforms under the second Competitiveness and Fiscal Management Program will help to fast-track Jamaica's growth and development targets, provide additional employment, reduce poverty levels and inequality, encourage better fiscal management, strengthen the business climate, and streamline Jamaica's energy resources.
World Bank representative Galina Satirova reaffirmed the bank's commitment to supporting with Jamaica's sustained development reform program.
Jamaica economic performance is expected to continue improving with the government staying the course on the reform program and continuing that commitment.
Minister of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries, Karl Samuda, has signed a contract with the University of Technology and the European Union to further enhance the sugar transformation program. President of the university, Professor Stephen Bassiani, says the institution's involvement in the program is to train and assist residents in sugar-dependent areas to establish at least 80 business ventures.
There is no doubt that the outcomes will have lasting, transforming impact on the lives of all persons involved. Given the decline in sugar production and economic conditions in sugar-dependent communities, it is good that this project has been conceived to help citizens who have contributed to the building of Jamaica's sugar industry.
Minister Samuda says that through improvements in productivity and training, sugar has the potential to be more competitive, adding that a market for the byproducts of sugar is also available.
The Jamaican market offers a better price than the European. And CARICOM offers the necessary volumes that can sustain a well-run sugar industry. Perhaps not at the level that we have experienced in the past, but certainly at a level that can contribute significantly to earning foreign exchange and the creation of employment.
And finally, hundreds of well-wishers turned out yesterday to the Thanksgiving service for the life of late President of the Jamaica Football Federation, Captain Horace Burrell. The Thanksgiving service was held at the National Arena in Kingston. Among those in attendance were Governor General Sir Patrick Allen and Lady Allen, Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who read a Bible lesson, and Sport Minister Olivia Grange.
He was the kind of man who saw both the challenge and the opportunity and decided to take on both. Jamaica, the Caribbean, and the world have lost a man who truly had the knack of converting the impossible dream into reality.
He was interned in a private ceremony at Upper Camp. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.